Thanks for sticking with us here at Real America. Okay, so right before the break, you heard our exclusive interview with that Michigan whistleblower about the software firm Dominion and all the illegal activity that was going on in Wayne County that she witnessed that night while she was working at that polling station near Detroit. There have been a lot more serious allegations that have come forward about that software company. Joining me now to break some more of this information down, One American News' Chanel Rion. She's been digging deeper on this one. She is in D.C. Joining me, Chanel, hi, how are you?
Hi, Dan. Good to be here. Thank you.
So I know that you are digging. I know that you've got a special coming out on One America next week, which is going to expose a lot of this, and you're going to be filtering out some of this information over the next few days. Can you tell us where it stands right now looking into Dominion, this software firm? I don't know if you could hear the interview right before you, but this woman, her name was Melissa Carone, is one of the big whistleblowers there that signed an affidavit and said, I saw all kinds of illegal stuff going on in that count room, and some of it has to do with Dominion.
Dan, she is one of thousands of pieces of evidence and testimony and affidavits that show that this election has been compromised beyond recognition. And what we have found, we will be sharing, as you mentioned, in our special here at OAN. But the information that we have come upon initially really seems to be very alarming, and we will share with you now. This story that we're about to expose about Dominion it goes in parallel with what the Trump team is doing right now. They're fighting to the death in the courts, showing how there was voter fraud committed in person using physical ballots. Now, the story that we're about to talk about with Dominion deals with the digital side of tabulating ballots, which is frankly far more alarming. And the more we talk to these data people, the more we talk to these tech people, we find that it is alarmingly easy to manipulate data digitally. So the problem we're facing now is that the United States voting system, the election system, used a set number of software across the board. Not all of them use the same one, but Dominion really popped onto our radar because, just like your whistleblower exhibited in your previous interview, there are some irregularities when it comes to the data that they are sharing. And one thing that we're noticing is this massive swapping of data. And we're not talking about 50 votes here or there. We're talking about swaps in the hundreds of thousands range. We're talking about votes that only go one direction. They go from Biden to Trump. And there's a direct correlation. And we're seeing this in data that is just absolutely alarming.
Janelle, let me correct you.
We're going to continue developing that story.
Hold on, let me interrupt real quick. You had said from Biden to Trump. You mean your investigation showed that hundreds of thousands went from Trump to Biden? Switched.
Sorry, yes.
I want to get that right.
So we saw a switch
just had
between...
to clarify that.
Yes, thanks.
Let me ask you a quick question, Chanel,
for example,
ahead,
Pennsylvania. I just want to quickly look at Pennsylvania is the largest switch that we're noticing, in which 220,000 votes went from President Trump to Joe Biden. And remember the margins that we're dealing with in Pennsylvania. They're not by much. They're only about 50,000 votes that Biden is leading Trump. So this is not an insignificant data glitch or an abnormality. It is certainly something we need to be looking into. Right.
Janelle, real quick, Dominion was used, you said, only in a few states, not, of course, all 50. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were they mainly in a lot of the key battleground states?
Absolutely. They were used. Dominion software is used, according to their own website, in 28 U.S. states. And we know that the entire state of Georgia actually signed a statewide contract to use Dominion in all of their counties. And there was a strong push to use Dominion software starting from last year. Insiders at the GOP in Georgia talked about the oddness in which there was such a push from the Democrats to use Dominion. So a county clerk had caught this glitch, and immediately the Secretary of State of Michigan came out and immediately said, and the media was kowtowing to her messaging, and said this was not a glitch, this was a human error. Our clerk just simply forgot to update the software. Well, the problem with that, Dan, is that the the Dominion Systems software company itself said this was, in fact, a glitch. So we have differing stories coming out of that situation. That is a proven story, and turns out that Dominion software is the same system that glitched for Biden by 6,000 votes, were used in 47 counties across Michigan.
Wow.
Dan, if you use basic math, 6,000
Yeah, it takes 6 times
let's
the
just say, for example, you know, that's 250,000 votes that
Chanel,
were
they're
affected
wrapping
if
us up.
you were just using that as an example.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you've uncovered with the hard evidence, all the affidavits, all that. And I know you're going to be slowly kind of releasing that over the weekend, but next week we're going to have that. Is that going to be a 30-minute or a 1-hour special, or what's the special that we're going to run next week here on One America about all this?
I don't want to pledge anything too quickly right now.
Okay.
I'm actually, after this interview, Dan, we're about to talk to one of the data guys who has been sitting down and reading the Dominion Systems software manual for the last week. And he's got some alarming messages and takeaways
All right,
from
so this is still a work in progress.
read the
Right.
system software.
Yeah,
this is a work in progress, but
Okay.
the bottom line is votes were switched from President Trump to now Joe Biden, and it happened in dozens of states. And it's a Dominion system software glitch that we are going to dig into further.
Straight ahead on Real America, she's a rising young star in the Republican Party. And even though she didn't win and pull out a big W in Florida, Anna Paulina Luna is still fighting for the conservative movement in our country. She joins us next. Don't go away.